Thanks for tuning in to Spend Less, Live Well with Dr. Josh Luke, dropping serious wisdom, integrating healthy living, finance, and faith into the healthcare process to live your best life. Watch us on YouTube or listen anywhere podcasts are found. Spend less and live well.
Welcome back to Spend Less, Live Well. Hey guys, I have another treat for you today. I have another world champion, a New York Yankees pitcher. And we're going to talk keto with him. We're going to talk about how he lost 30 pounds after he retired, but not only after he retired, but just in a few short months during keto. It just happened to be right about the time the pandemic set in. There was a lot of hoopla about it on social media about how this guy that was known for being kind of hefty during his playing days was dropping all this weight. Fun guy. It was an honor to speak to him. And again, if you are unfamiliar, I also do a separate show, a podcast called The Dugout Dudes with the former Major League Baseball player and my high school teammate, Brett Tomko. We interviewed CC for that show. I got his permission to take some sound bites about the keto stuff to share with you on this show so you can not only spend less but live well. So I hope you enjoy these spots. I'll be back to sign you off after about 10 minutes. Folks, our guest today is world champion New York Yankees pitcher CC Sabathia. You've seen him a lot on social media recently. You can actually follow him on Instagram at CC_Sabathia. CC, I wanted to ask you, a lot of people have tried keto. Give me 3 foods that you've been eating during your awesome run on keto to lose weight that are just awesome, that make you feel like, man, I'm not even dieting. This is so good.
Yeah, you know what? I started keto right after New Year's. I did keto for all of January, all of February. I ended up losing 22 pounds on keto. But like with my heart condition, I just felt like it was a lot of fatty foods. It was kind of too much for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to get my blood pressure down, I'm trying to get off all those meds. And it was a lot of bacon, a lot of steak, and a lot of that stuff. I mean, obviously it worked. And, you know, if you can do it, I mean, I would suggest, you know, being able to do it. But it was just, you know, a lot of cheese, a lot of dairy, a lot of that stuff. So I ended up switching over when the quarantine happened, like mid-March, to no soy, no gluten. So now, I mean, it's, you know, it's a lot of quinoa, it's a lot of wild rice, spinach, broccoli. I eat a lot of salmon, chicken. I have steak every now and again. But I mean, I have no bad things to say about keto other than, you know, me having a stent in my heart and wanting to get healthy and not have high blood pressure. But I think it, you know, it obviously kick-started my diet and got me to where I'm at. Now I'm down 31 pounds. So
good. So when you reintegrate, what parts of keto are you going to try to keep as part of your normal lifestyle when you reintegrate off of full-time keto?
I think the best thing that I really liked was being able to have like eggs and spinach omelet with a little bit of bacon. You know, my wife would make these cheese cup tacos for me. That I think I'll definitely keep on there for cheat days. So, you know, keto is like a big man's diet. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to lose weight and you're a big guy, like definitely do keto because there's some foods on there that you love to eat that you can still eat.
I did keto for like about 3 months, about 2 years ago. And it was, like you said, you almost feel like you're eating bad.
Right.
You're eating you're like, here's some bacon, here's some cheese, here, like you're crushing it. Like we used to do these little jalapeno cheese, bacon, cheddar cheese, cream cheese. And I felt like there's no way this is good for you. Like, but it was like, and one of my best friends, a bodybuilder, and I would text him all the time. He's jacked and he eats like nothing because he's just so lean. I said, I'm so tired of eating nuts and bacon and cheese. Right. I'm over. If I eat another nut for a snack, I'm gonna like go crazy. So the funny thing is when like I integrated off of it, kind of went back, I felt like crap.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting such good stuff and good fats that when you have like a little bit of pasta, you feel like you're gonna explode.
Man, I did this no soy, no gluten. And on Easter, I decided to have a cheat. We did brunch. I decided to have a cheat. And I had 3 pieces of French toast. And I literally slept the rest of the day. Like I was out, like sugar, everything. Like I couldn't get out of bed. Like it was crazy. So,
but then it starts messing with your mind because you're like, does food make that much of a difference? Like how I feel every day.
And I always thought, because my wife's vegan, so anytime she eats anything, you know, not vegan, she's like, oh, I feel like crap, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, right, okay, whatever. Like it don't make that big of a deal. But having that French toast a couple weeks ago, like
Knocked you out.
I definitely felt it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, vegan. That dude. There's like the whole like meat shortage. You guys are gonna be set, man.
But the only thing I didn't like about keto was not being able to have fruit because I like to crush fruit.
Yeah, because of the whole sugar
so like
thing.
bananas, apples, and all of that stuff. Pineapples watermelon is kind of like off the list. So it's just blueberries and strawberries. But I mean, keto is an easy diet to do too. Like if you travel a lot.
Once you get past that first week, you're just like, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Because you can have like corn tortillas, I think, on keto because there's no flour. They're like, you can make it so you're like, I don't feel like I'm really having to cut back. You almost feel like gluttonous, like I said.
That's what I'm saying. Like for a big guy, like it was a great diet for me to start on because I didn't feel like I was like dieting. Like I was
but when you're crushing bacon every morning, you're like, dude, my heart, there's no way this is good for my heart right now. I've eaten like 17 pounds of bacon in the last week.
There's nothing. There is nothing better than bacon, though, is there? Hey, Cece, I wanted to ask you. I mentioned to you, you and Brett both had the opportunity to play for the Yankees in part of what may or may not have been a dynasty then, but with a group of players that were part of a Yankee dynasty. My brother, as I mentioned, was drafted in '92 by the Yankees, roomed with Derek Jeter, grew up with Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada. As I've gotten the chance to meet some of those guys that you and Brett got to play with, is there one or two of them that you just go, wow, this guy figured life out and he's a role model for me? And Brett, I'd love to hear from you too, because that Yankee locker room was special. I mean, even when they came to Dodger Stadium a few years ago, my brother and I went down, and the two guys that stood out to me were Mariano Rivera and Joe Girardi. They were just set apart guys that you go, wow, this guy remembered my name. This guy was great. And Derek was an awesome guy too. My brother spent a lot of time with him. But talk to me about a couple guys in that locker room that's been so highly publicized over the last 30 years that just have really made an impact on each of your lives.
Yeah, really for me, it was like the whole core four. Like they all like big brothers to me. You know what I'm saying? From Mo and Andy teaching me to cutter, from my relationship with our families with Jeter, and, our families are really close. His sister and my wife, and his wife and my wife, and, his parents and my parents, we're all integrated. So when I first got here, Laura Posada took Amber under her wing, like to show her New York and all that stuff. So those guys have been great to me from day one. And, like I said, they all like big brothers to me. But the one, I'm close to all of them, but I think the one that impacted my career the most was Andy. Being around Andy Pettitte every day, being a lefty pitching in New York, him having so much success in the playoffs, in the postseason, he really just made like a huge impression on me when I got here in '09. And, I've been kind of following him ever since. You know what I mean? Like I got anything going on, any kind of tough time in my life, he's the first person I call. So he's been a huge, huge help for me on and off the field, battling alcoholism, all of that stuff. He was right there with me the whole way.
Yeah, I agree. Andy, like, I tell you what, when I signed with the Yankees in 2009, I came to spring training, and I had over 10 years in the big leagues. But when you walk in that clubhouse, there's definitely an intimidation factor when you walk in, not only of the organization, but like you said, the caliber. But you got Derek Jeter, you got Andy Pettitte. At that time, A-Rod was there. Like, you got big name guys. You were there. A.J. Burnett were there. I walked in like, dude, I do not belong in this clubhouse. It was super intimidating for me, but baseball is a big fraternity. So you get there, you spend a few days in there, and all of a sudden you're family. But like you said, Andy was like, even though we're close to the same age, he's a couple years older, like he's sitting in his locker hanging out. You want to go sit by like grandpa almost. It felt like he was just going to spew knowledge on you. Yeah. And it was like, if he said something, like, you listen, he would say, hey, Brett, let's go for a run. And even if I didn't want to, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go for a run. Because you just felt like you were going to get a little nugget from him, like, for anything. And he's not what you expect.
No,
like, he's
not.
Country. He, like, I thought when I see him pitch, like, in those playoff games, I'm like, he's probably like a mean guy. Like, he's so nice.
And I always thought that he was like in control of everything. He was the most out of control person I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's coming down screaming and everything hurts. He's got a cramp here and the umpire's not giving him strikes. Like, if you see him out on the mound, he's got his glove over his head. You know,
think he's under control.
You think he's got it locked in, but like, it's the funniest thing ever. But like, when I get to spring training in '09, I came from Milwaukee and I had won the Cy Young in '07. I go to get traded to Milwaukee, had a great second half. So like, I'm already in this mode where like I don't run polls. Like my knee, I already had a knee surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I'm not running. Like that's not what I'm doing anymore. I'll figure something else out. I'll go do the elliptical, whatever. First day, we out there doing PFP, and I'll grab my shoes to go walk back in, and I see Andy and Mo running poles. And, like, they both stopped halfway and, like, looked at me walking back in. So I just dropped my shit, turned around, and I started.
How are you not going to go run with them? How are you not? They, like, look at you, and you're like, well, if Mo and Andy do it, I'm like, no, I'm going to
They
run
already got
poles.
4 rings at this point. Like, who am I to, like, walk off the field and these guys are doing extra running? So I dropped my shit and turned around and started running poles.
And they didn't just, like, jog poles.
Oh,
like
no.
when we used to run poles, Girardi used to get out there and run with us, and he was like faster than him and Jabba, Girardi, like those guys, and Mo, they could run. I remember like we'd start off and they'd say partner up, and I'm like, where's CC at? Because I wanted like, dude, I'm not fast. Like I'll do my poles, but I'm gonna cruise them.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, what a fun guy, what a fun interview. He's a world champion. He was pretty candid, not just about his keto, but about his passion for the game, his passion for how good his Yankee teams were, both the year they won it and in 2017 when the Astros' well-publicized cheating scandal kept them a game or 2 short of the World Series against my beloved Dodgers. So great conversation. Hope you picked up some keto tips there, some eating tips that can help us all spend less, live well, eat healthy, and lose a few pounds in the process. Dr. Josh Luke signing off for today. Thank you so much.